Hello guys, my name is Khan, and actually in today's video we will creating animated charts. So I have already created a one dashboard for you guys that in this video I will go with you and we will create the same dashboard again. So what does it mean by animated charts? So animated charts are those charts which keeps on changing, or you can play them like a video. So if you just like here we have a play button. If I play this click this play button, my graph will change automatically according to the data we have. Actually in this video I will be using one of the data set. I will take you guys towards that data set, what that data is. So actually in that data set we have for each year we have employment rate for these four countries: USA, UK, China, and France. And I want to know how the employment rate change over in these countries over the year. So I have created one slider input here, and here I have used animated button which you can add in slider input. I will show how we will do that. So suppose if I play it now, so you can see that my charts are changing accordingly, and you can see that I have also pasted the year value here, and my graph is changing accordingly. And in the last thing that I have also added text input. So whatever I write, so you can enter your remarks that suppose if the graph is good, so it's pasted the value here a bit formatted. But the thing to note here is that I have added this text box to show you guys that how you can create gap between your widgets in RShiny. So suppose if I just write text input in my code, the RShiny will just paste this text input just below the last widget you have created. In our case we have this slider input, but I have created a gap between these two widgets. So I will also tell you guys that how you can create that. And another thing to note here is that in this dashboard, the title is appearing in the center. So it's a bit about the formatting. We will also discuss about that. So now I will just cancel it, and I have this thing. I will also cancel it. Save. And before starting the code, I will in this folder I will also have my data that I will be using for this video. So it's a good idea to show what this data is about. So here you can see that actually this will be the data based on which I will be creating a graph. So we have years starting from 2005, and then we have countries, and then we have employment rate for each country, and the year keeps on changing. So again, this is a hypothetical data that I have just created for this video. So I will close this data set now. Don't save. And now the point is that we will start creating our code. So I have to go to my RStudio. Open it. And I will open a script. I will open a new script for me. And I will start writing down my code. I want to open it in a separate window. So again, I will be using RShiny package. So it's a good practice to mention the libraries that you will be using in your code in the start of your code. Library Shiny, and another library, because I will be importing CSV datasets, so I will be using read R library. And now before starting, I will also set my working directory where my data will be located. So I will be just copy path and we'll saying set working directory path here. There is no need to mention the file name here because I am giving the folder path. And now I'm also going to save my this code file within the same working directory. So videos and RShiny animated graphs, animated slider input. Save. So now we are ready to go, but you can see that R is showing that there is some problem in my text because again we have to change these backslashes into forward slashes. Now we are ready to start writing our user interface first. But before user interface, because I will be calling some stats from my data, so I will be importing my data, CSV data first into R. So I will be saying a data object I will be creating will be named as data, and then I will be assigning. I will be reading a CSV file, so I will be saying read underscore CSV. And then I will be mentioning the file name, which is data.csv. Now I'm ready to go. Let's see if I run this code. Hopefully I will not get any error. Yes, I didn't get any error. There's some warning messages about that package read R was built for under R version. I am using a bit older version of R, so it's not an issue. So let's see. So now the first thing is that we have to design our user interface. Now we are going to design our user interface. So again, I will be creating an object named as UI. As I told you guys before, you can name it whatever you want. And user interface, and then I will be starting with the function of Shiny, which is Shiny UI. UI, and within that I will be again using the fluid page option, and within the fluid page, the first thing I will be creating a title panel. So where I will be mentioning, if I show you guys here, our title panel is animated charts. So I will be first using the function within the fluid page, which is the title panel, and within that title panel I will have to write animated charts. So let's see if I write animated charts here. But the thing you guys have to note here is that if I just write down animated chart like this, the animated thing will be written down on the left corner by default, but I want that to be written in the center of my dashboard. So in order to do that, you have to use a HTML command, a function, to mention that whatever I am writing, write down in the center of my dashboard, and it's very simply you can do that. So within the title panel I will be mentioning that HTML, and then within the brackets and within these inverted commas I will be using this less than greater than sign, and within that I will be mentioning center. So actually this thing will not be printed, but this thing is whatever you will write under down these less than and greater than sign will be tell R that what will be the formatting style of your text. Here we are starting that start right down within the center of my dashboard, and I also have to end this formatting style. So after writing down the text, I will finish my formatting by again mentioning less than equal to sign, and here I will, before writing the center, I will use the forward slash, and then again I will write down center, and I will finish my brackets. So we have now added the title panel option. So after that, after creating the title panel, we will be start working on our sidebar layout. So again, I will use comma. The next thing is sidebar bar layout. And about the sidebar layout, as I can show in my dashboard, the position of my sidebar is on the right hand side. So I will change the position by using the option position is equal to right. And after that, I have mentioned the position. I will be using another function within the sidebar layout, which is sidebar panel, where we will be specify our widgets. The widgets that we are going to use is sidebar slider input and text input. So we will be using two widgets. So the first I will start with the slider input. But before that, as you can also have seen that I have started with this text, the dashboard is about sidebar input. So within my sidebar layout, I will first mention sidebar panel. So sidebar layout, sidebar panel. And within the panel, what I will do, I will start with the heading. So I will be mentioning this dashboard is about sidebar is slider input. And I can format this thing by adding brackets. I will say I will be using heading style of H4, and between that, the thing to note here is that I will be, after that, within the slider panel, I will be now using slider input widget. So I'll be starting from here. So I'll be saying slider input, and within the input, the first thing is that I have to create my input ID. Then I have to add the title. So my slider input ID will be year. So because my slider will be capturing the year value, so this is the local or the variable where my year value will be get saved, and I want to title it as employment rate in a given year. So I will be title my slider as the employment rate in a given year. And after that, and the thing to note here is that I want to start my slider from the minimum value of the data. So I have in my data set, the year is starting from 2005, and my maximum value of my slider will be the maximum year value which is appearing in my data. So I will be starting with min is equal to minimum. So you can simply write down 2005 here, but in order to make, because I don't want to keep on changing, suppose if your data get changed, your year value may get changed, and your year may start from 2004 or maybe more than maybe above 2005. So instead of writing 2005 here, it's not a good practice. It's better to write down min and refer it to your data set from where the year will be coming. So I'll be saying data, and then I'll saying $year. So now what will happen, that the minimum value will be received from my data and from within the data from year column. And after that, the same as that, I can also say the max of my slider input will be coming from the function max, and then again this data $year. So if you will write down your code like this, your code will be more soft coded, and you will not be required to change things if your data keeps on changing. And after that, what I will be doing is I will be telling R that what will be the first value of my slider. As you can see that my slider is by default have got the value 2005. So I will tell my default value by writing down value is equal to, I want that my default value is the first year of my data. So I will say again, so I will be using this min year again, and will be pasting it here, and comma, and now just going to the next line. And after that, another thing I want to do is that I want to that my graph keep on changing year by year. So the jumps I want is one by one. So 2005 to 2006. So I need to mention the step. So I will say step is equal to 1. And another thing is I will be using an option animate is equal to. So I want that this thing keeps on changing automatically. Once by saying animate is equal to true, you will get this play button. So I will be using this animate is equal to true. So what I will also tell you other options of animation, but currently I will just finish my first slider input here. And the second thing now I want to create is my text input. As I mentioned you guys that I will add some other options later in my video, and I will show you guys that how those options are working. So I will go with the second within my slider input. I will be creating another I think I have using some brackets wrongly. So first I will just keep a check that where my brackets are ending. So actually I am having it here. Yeah, now my brackets are level. I'm getting one notification here. I think everything is fine. Okay, so now we are ready to go. So the next thing I want to create is I want to create my slider. I want to enter a text input. So I will create a text input now. And my text input ID will be remarks. You can call it whatever you want. And my title of my text input will be, you can see from here. So I'm saying that the title will be enter your remarks. Enter your remarks. So now this is my text input. And after that, what I will do, I will finish my a slider layout here. It's not yet completed, and after that I will be using main panel. And here I'm also not mentioning anything because I will change it here later in my video. So I have just completed my user interface, which is not yet completed, but I have added a bit basics in my user interface which we can run. And now I will quickly create my server, Shiny server. So I will say Shiny server, and within that I will be using an object server. You can name it whatever you want, and then I will be assigning a function to that object, and the function will be getting input from user interface and will compute some outputs within my Shiny server. And then I'll be mentioning these curly brackets, and the last thing is that I'll be using as I said, that I have just created a Shiny server without any computation, and in the end I will add computation, but I'm just finishing giving a broad structure to my Shiny app, because first thing what I want to do is that I want to run this code to see how my widgets are look like, and then I will keep some formatting changes in my widgets. So the first thing is user interface object, and the second object I have created is server. Now let's see if I run this code, Control A and Control Enter. Let's see. I think I got an error. The UI object not found, because I think I got an error. Let me check the error. Actually, I got an error because I have added this bracket at wrong position. I don't want to finish my slider panel function here. As you can see that this bracket is closing this sidebar panel. So I will finish it, and my sidebar panel will be actually finishing here. So first I will be mentioning a bracket here, and then my last bracket will be here. So let's see if I run my code now. Control Enter, Control A and then Control Enter. So this is the dashboard that we have yet created. It's not complete because now if I maximize it, the thing to note here is that there is no gap between my slider input and text input. So I have to create a gap first. So how I can do that? So I will go back to my code, and where I'm mentioning my slider input, and after that I want to create a gap. So I will enter a new comma, and within that, before starting text input, I will be writing down a code to create a gap between these two widgets, the slider input widget and the text input widget. So I will start with div, and within the div function, div is for divide, so my style is, and within the style, actually it's more a HTML code that I'm going to write. So I will be mentioning height, 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 colon, so, yeah, colon. And then I will be mentioning that how much height I want to create. So I will mention 300 px. You can, this thing, the 300, you can keep it changing according to your need. And then I will, within the inverted commas, I will add 2 semicolons, and I will comma, and I will be giving an argument that is HTML. And within the HTML, I will be mentioning inverted commas, and again greater than equal to sign, and within that I will say BR for a browser window. And now let's see if I execute this code, Control A and then Control Enter. enter. I'm getting an error. So no, actually it's already open. So I have to first finish this dialog, my dashboard, and now execute it. So now you can see that my widgets have a gap between them. So now actually my sidebar panel is very much formatted according to what I need. So now I need to create, start working on my server now. So in order to start working on my server, the first thing is that I have to create, assign my inputs to my output objects. So the first thing that I want to create is I will be creating an output object out here. So in order to do that, which will be capturing my year value out here. You can name it whatever you want after the $sign, and I will be saying sign, and then I will be saying render text from input dollar. My year is coming from the ID year, and in the same way I will be using this. I will just copy it again, paste it here, that my remarks, so I will say output remarks that I also want to print. Output remarks like this. So copying remarks from here, pasting it here. And the next thing that I want to do is I want to create a chart which will keep on changing according to my slider input. So in order to do that, first what I will do, I will start with my output object for my chart dollar. I will be naming it EMP underscore rate because it will be telling me employment rate. You can again name whatever you want according to your need. And I will be starting with render plot. So what thing happen is here now, that whatever I can write down the code, but whatever will be the whatever graph object I will create within this these brackets will be captured into my employer rate, because it will be capturing the plot. The render plot will be captured only the plot output that I will create within this brackets. So in order to do that, the first thing is that I will be using my data, CSV data. So I will be just copying it here again. And after that, I have to first filter the data according to the year. So in order to do that, I will be creating another object, data2 data, and I will be saying, within the data, I will be using straight brackets. And I want to subset my data based on the year. So in order to do that, I'll be saying if data dollar year, that this is the variable which is in my data set, is equal to input, which I will be assigning it from my slider input, dollar, again my input object name is year, so I will be mentioning year is equal to year, then only keep those observations. And now I will just simply create my bar plot. So I will bring bar plot. Actually this bar plot will be captured under the object, output object, which is EMP underscore rate. So I will saying EMP rate, and then I will mentioning my variable for the height of this bar, which will be based on data2 dollar EMP employment rate, and the names that will appear on my x-axis will be coming from the variable country, which is USA, UK, China, France. So I will be mentioning in data $2 country. Let me see that how I have to mention. So this I just want to check the spellings that I have written down rightly or not. So okay, the right spellings seems right. COUN, country, employment rate, and then in the end I will be just mentioning that how my Y scale will looks like. So I want to say that my Y scale will show me values between 0 to 20. 0. You can change it according to your need, and there is no need to mention this option, but I will just specifying this so that my graph looks a bit more good. So now if I control A, control enter, I think I got an error. Just give me let me check why the error is appearing. Sorry, I didn't get any error, but now if I execute my code, control A, control enter, you can see that the graph is not appearing here because I haven't mentioned in my main panel that my output objects start appearing here. Now I will start mentioning that. So now I will go back to my main panel, and the first thing that I want to see is the year. So whatever year value, I want to print it here. So it's very simple. I will start writing like text output function, and the first text output is my out underscore year. Copy, commas, copy, and the second thing I want to print here is the plot that I have created. So I'll be saying plot output, and my plot output name is emp underscore rate. Just copy it, put it within the inverted commas, and the last thing that I want to print on my main output is my output remarks. I will copy it. Again, I will be using text output. Within the inverted commas, I will specify my object name. So now if I control A and control enter, so actually I got an error. Let me check why I'm getting this error. Actually I got an error because when I specifying the bar plot, I forget to mention that the second object, the y-axis, the labels that I want to label is based on the country variable, but you have to mention that names.argument, then equal to sign, and then that variable based on which you want to label. So now if I control A and control enter, now you can see that the graph is appearing. And now the good thing is that if I maximize it, and now if I play it, you can see that my graph will keep on changing accordingly. And if you can see that how data is employment rate in US is changing, UK is decreasing, how the employment rate is happening in other countries. So if I play it again, you can see that this way of presenting your graph seems that how employment rate changed over the time, and how it seems that how different countries have done. So it's just one of the example. You can create animated charts, and you can use it many other ways too. The last thing that I would like to show is that if I just copy my slider input, copy it. If you guys want to learn more about slider input, you can go to help, you can search slider input, click it, and then there is I can maximize it. So there is a very good help available over R, that this page you can go into detail, you can read what is slider input, what are the options available within the slider if you say animated is equal to true, then you can also use this option, animation options, in which you can specify the time, that how much time it will take from one value to another. And if you want that the loop keeps on running, you can say loop is equal to true. So if that will be true, then your graph keeps on changing in a loop manner. And then you can also add a pause button if you want. So if you say pause button is equal to true, then once you will play, there will be a pause button appearing. Then you can pause it, the graph, if you want. So this is a short overview how you can create animations in RShiny through slider input. Thank you for watching the video.